Okay, our little baby Catherine is in the hospital. I guess we're talking about the dehydration and not being able to hold anything in, and the doctor had her on intravenous, and mommy or Susan stayed with her as much as she could. She did stay with her, and this one night, uh, she got home late. Susan did. Tracy's in the crib, and we're downstairs on our little bed downstairs, and Susan had to make formula for the baby. That's what it is, formula. Back then you had glass bottles, and these glass bottles were what you poured the formula in, and then you put it on the stove, the pot, and you heated it up. And the pot held about 8 bottles, I think, something like that. And so we were in bed, and mommy was awake still. I think I fell asleep, and formula's cooking away. I mean, we laugh now, but it was scary. And then the next thing you know, Joe, and it's Susan, and I wake up, and Tracy's crying, and the smoke has engulfed the whole household, and get out of bed, and of course we're right there by the kitchen where the formula is, and walked in, and the pot with the formula in it, there's about a foot, 2 feet high flame just shooting up out of the formula bottle. I mean, like, whoa. And we had presence of mind to get outside, to get that thing had to get outside to get it out, and open the door. We had a door off the kitchen that goes down to the basement, and then one that goes outside once you went down the 4 steps, I think it was, something like that. Anyway, I got the towel, and I just grabbed, mommy opened the doors, and I just took it outside. I mean, there was nothing to do, and got it outside and just threw it on the driveway to get the flames out, and which, thank God, it did. And of course, the priority was Tracy, and her, and Susan grabbed Tracy and went outside. Mm-hmm. So here we are in a smoke-filled house, and long story short, I say these long story shorts, but Pop had insurance and so forth and all to get it, but the whole house had to be fumigated, or whatever you call the word, to get the smoke out, and then the repairs that had to be done from the smoke damage, right. And that meant all painting and things like that. And with the money, he had presence of mind to put a bathroom in downstairs. Right. And that's how that bathroom and a half came about. That half bathroom was built, and of course was a blessing for all of us at the time. And there's stories that we can tell about getting the repair job with the children. And anyway, we got back, and work and so many. It's 1963, and again at this time. Okay, welcome back. That's my heritage, part of it, Irish heritage, and I thought I'd just wear the cap for a little change of scenery. Sometimes people are, they appreciate, a little change, and they'll pay attention more, and other people think it's a height of, big shot type, but it isn't. It isn't really. The year is 1963. After Katie comes home from the hospital, and Tracy, we went through the situation with the formula fire, and now we come to the situation where Susan is expecting another child, and this will be child number 3, and the year is 1963, and she is expecting. The situation at home is the same. We're getting the improvements are done with that house, getting taken care of, and I'm trying to remember anything before the pregnancy, before the birth of our 3rd child. Everything is going. I'm working.
Katie got well.
Well, that I did that.
Okay.
So we're going to move on to 1964. I think everything is pretty, nothing, I can't remember anything in 1963 other than that we're family, we're alive, we're well. Okay, we're living on West Rocks Road, and I am, I know what. I have a new job. I know what happened for a while. 62, 63. It just dawned on me. I answered an ad for police officer.
Oh, yeah.
And it was in the Norwalk Hour, I think the ad was, but they were looking for police officers for the city of Norwalk. And I thought I'd answer it and just, not thinking too much of it, but want to give it a try. And guess what? I got called in for an interview, and I had an interview with about 6 people sitting at a table asking me questions about my personality, about my job, and I answered them as best I could, and came down to where 3 men were chosen to become officers after certain training, and I was one of them. Can you believe that? Me, yeah. And I didn't know. Maybe some of the 6 people there were hard of hearing, or they realized that this little guy could do no harm on the police force. But anyway, I got chosen with 2 other fellas, and went into a training. I was working at my other job. I didn't quit a job yet or anything, and that was at I think I was at Burndy then, 63. I think I was, but I was still working a job. No, I wasn't at Burndy then. No. Excuse me. That's all right. I get confused, and you'll understand, especially when you see the credits. Notice that the film crew was from Siberia. Okay, where are we here now? I got a job as a police officer, or supernumerary. Okay, that's what it was. What they did back then, you didn't go to the academy. They didn't have an academy. They just had on-the-job training. And on-the-job training, young people, is that like Susan, nursing, you went to some classes, but you got your basic training on the job. Mm-hmm. And I got my basic training, on weekends. And every weekend, 3 to 11 p.m., because I had my other job. All right, here we are again. We had a little interruption, but getting back to my important job on the weekends, 3 to 11 p.m. as a police officer. And training back then, people, was on the job. And what they did was they hooked you up with another police officer, a regular, and they put you on a beat to walk a certain beat. And while you walked the beat, they were able to check up on you through the telephone when you called into the station to report where you were on your beat. Your beat was a certain number of blocks in a certain area of the town. And there were like, I'm trying to remember the number. There were like 7 or 8 beats that you could handle. You know, you were going to be trained to handle when it came your turn as a regular police officer. So anyway, I was given a beat to walk and on the beat, the way they kept you informed was that around the beat, every certain area on the beat was a phone, and this phone was hooked up to the command center, and you would walk to that phone, and you would pick it up, and it was a command center, and you would report in. They knew what time it was, and you would say everything is okay. They would acknowledge you, and you hung up. And then you walked another few blocks, whatever it was, and you came to another phone. This was the next phone on the beat, number phone, that phone. And you did the same thing. You're checking in, and everything's okay, blah, blah, blah. And that's how they kept a record of your responsibility on the beat. So not too hard to do, but communications, of course, was not like it is now. And of course, with communications now, and they're talking about A1 and all this other. Be careful with all of those things, people. You know, you want to just know that you don't want to be controlled. I'm not talking about police work or stuff like that. There has to be control, but in your everyday daily walk. Okay, right. So I was a supernumerary for about 9 months, I think it was, a training that I took, and a number of incidents happened, things I could talk about, and I don't know if I should mention any of them. I could mention maybe one, see what crazy things happen. One of these incidents, I was doing my job. It was like 5 o'clock near rush hour, and it was in Norwalk, my beat. And part of the beat was an overpass that was, went over my beat, okay?
Train.
And it was for trains. And so it's rush hour traffic. And what you could do, one of the responsibilities you could do with rush hour traffic is you could control the traffic light at a corner if it was very, very busy. In other words, it wasn't an automatic timing where the red, caution, green, you could hold it longer to let the longer traffic get by if that was necessary. So this one Friday, it was a Friday evening, and the traffic is pretty heavy, but I'm by the light to change if it was necessary, and along comes a semi. You know what a semi is? Big truck. And as the semi's approaching the overpass, or under the overpass, guess what? The top of the semi hits the overpass. Boing! Stop! All of a sudden, the traffic is stopped. The semi is kind of stuck, and not stuck, but at the underpass there. And I'm standing not in the middle of the street, of course, but problem. What do we do? Well, get on the phone, which is nearby, tell them what's happening, and might need some help. But in the meantime, I will need help. In the meantime, you got to get the traffic going. Or you're going to have a lot of traffic rage. People go, saying and doing things that might be harmful to you. I mean, other people. So what did I do? I made that phone call. I get back to the truck. I told the truck to follow me. I mean, just watch me from your rear view mirror there and see what I do. Don't you do anything until I tell you what to do. I run to the other corners and I tell the cars in the other corners, don't you move. Even though you can move, I don't want you to move. You stay where you are. Stay where you are. And the other corner where the truck is facing the back of the truck, I get the cars to get out of there. I move them. I move that traffic. I tell these cars to I move about 6, 7, 8 cars. And then I stop the other car, tell them, don't you move until I tell you to. And then I motion with my hand to the driver in the semi. I said the driver, I motioned for him to back up, keep backing up. And he was able to get away from the underpass and to back up and to back up and to back up. And then I stop. I have to let some more cars that are behind him get by so he can back up some more. Finally, he backs up. He's able to back up as far as he could go. And I stop that traffic behind him. All right. And I move the cars from one of the other corners. I get them to about 4 or 5 of them to get out of the way now to go. And then I stop the other cars and I let the driver of the semi to take a right. He's able to turn into that street and to get the H out of here. I didn't say that to him because he looked pretty tough. But anyway, he made the right turn and he was able to maneuver himself to where he had to stop, and I had to let some other cars go so he could make a move out to there. Anyway, he did get out of there finally. But thankful to the other people, the drivers, they obeyed me. They listened to me, because it would have caused a lot of more havoc if all these cars started moving at the same time or trying to sneak out. I hope you're not one of those road rage drivers. That's not good. Road rage is not part of your morality. It's wrong. Okay? Any type of road rage. So anyway, that's one story. I have other stories, but I don't want to. Okay, so this is 62 or 63, and I had that kind of a job. However, make a long story short, I did not continue my travel or my vocation as a police officer. I just was too much involvement with children, the babies, and I just thought it would be better. I made that decision. To this day, when I think about it, I wonder, well, what if I would have, then, a lot of stories I could tell, even on the short time that I was a police officer. Supernumerary, can't say police officer. Okay, that was with the Norwalk Police Department. One other job, let's see. I think I took that job at 64. Right? Well, we're getting to 64 because our third daughter in April of 1964. I'll go to the birth. Our third daughter, our third child is born. And it's a girl. Whoa, you know,
Poor kid.
number one girl, number two a girl, number three a girl. Oh my goodness. Anyway, you love them. But I was hoping for a boy. And I'm a junior, by the way. My last name begins with junior. So, ends with a junior. Susan Mary is born. And healthy birth. Right, babe? Healthy?
Yep.
Yep. But this a little information that the woman doctor who delivered her well, let me finish. But it's time. The birth happened, blah blah blah, and I'm ready to pick her up to take her home. And they tell me to go into the business office. So I go to the business office. I said, "Yeah, how you doing? It's just me. Remember me 2 years ago? Here's our third child." And the business office manager, who's ever there, is a guy. He said, "Okay, it's going to be it was like $300 and some, which was pretty much money." I said, "Yeah." He says, "Well, we need that money now." I said, "What?" And I didn't have $300. What are you talking about? But we were covered with insurance, and we had insurance. And I just hadn't sent the insurance in yet because I didn't have all the paperwork. Well, we don't know if you have the insurance. You know, he gave me that. I said, wait a minute. I've been here 2 years in a row. You know, it's been paid by our insurance, and you know, I'm ready to take my wife and our daughter home. Well, we need the money. If we can't do that, then I'm saying no. And so I was really pretty cool the way I did this. I'm sitting there talking to the guy, you know, and I get up and I says, well, I'll tell you what. I said, you make sure you feed them. And when I get the money, I'll come back and pick them up. Goodbye. And I start walking. Whoa, Mr. McGorry, wait, whoa, hold a second. And I turn around. And anyway, they believed me, and everything was fine. I mean, they got home and all that, but that was just an incident of life. So make sure you pay your bills. Make sure you have good credit. Whatever. Our country today is full of credit card debt. Stay out if you can just. Whew, what can I say? All righty, here we are, fans. And Susan Mary is now born. The year is 1964. And, the doctor calls me into the office. This is when Mommy went for a visit after, they do, after the birth. And she starts giving me a hard time. She said, don't you dare have any more children. And she was very, and she was right. I mean, Mommy, my goodness, 3 babies in less than 3 years. And she told me that was wrong and blah, 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 and you better not have any more children. She'll report me or something to the baby. I don't know, but anyway, she did. But and it was kind of embarrassing, but we love Susan Mary, and she loves us. Okay, 64.
I have a question.
Just pause it.
Yeah, okay. I'd like to talk a little bit about, not a little bit, but to move on here before, stay awake, yo. Okay. We got to 1964, Susie being born and coming home to live with us. And one incident with Susie, well, that's later.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's later, yeah. Okay, guess what though? Guess what? Susan is expecting again. This is after what the
You gotta
doctor
wrap
said to
it
me,
up.
but we have a different doctor. Yeah, she said to wrap it up. And I got mixed up. I thought she meant to wrap it up and have another baby. Wrap it up, go for it. No, I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding. So Susan is expecting again. And we tried to keep it a secret because we were kind of embarrassing, I guess. But,
No.
well, no.
Okay.
Just between the two of us. I mean, we didn't want Pop Gage to really find out right away, and we wanted to just make it like
Surprise.
so, yeah, and well, anyway, this is 1964 in July, something like that. That Joey was. Became part of our family, not born, but I mean was
Conceived.
conceived. And that was an interesting moment, though, in our lives, not only with Joey being born in, he was born in April of 65. So we kind of went through the lifestyle, 64, and Christmas. I can't think of anything. I got a job at Volkswagen. That's right. I got a job selling Volkswagens. Man, I had a lot of jobs too. I mean, that's just kind of show immaturity or just bad choices. I don't know. But Westport Volkswagen. And back then, in the early 60s, 63, 64, 65, the Volkswagen, okay, which was a big German car, small, the Beetle they called it, was coming to America. But all of the Volkswagens at the time were manufactured in Germany. But dealerships were popping up, especially along the East Coast, for these Volkswagen sedans, which were a hot commodity, okay? People wanted them. And one of the reasons they wanted these Volkswagens was because of the cost. If you bought a stripped Volkswagen Beetle, back then you paid $1,395 for a stripped Volkswagen. Think about that. If you wanted to add to it extras on the car, like undercoating, a radio, you paid for that. And the salesman, instead of getting just a $10 commission for a stripped Volkswagen, all right, got 10% of any extras that were added onto the car. So it was up to you to use your professional salesmanship to get some. And then some of these things were important too, to keep your car safe. And anyway, you couldn't, every car, every Volkswagen and every dealership was the same price. You did not compete with other dealerships along the East Coast for that different price. And on top of that, you had a color, any color you want that Volkswagen had. You wanted a blue Volkswagen, that's what your order was. And on top of that, delivery was approximately 8 to 10 weeks. But the people were willing to wait. And so you would get a phone call maybe 6 weeks into the delivery, or with the delivery coming, checking on your car. Oh yeah, Mr. McGorry, Yeah, it's still, yeah, the ship's supposed to leave in another 2 weeks from Germany, and it'll might be a little, but anyway, yeah, we have your names on the list, and okay, thank you. Come 8 weeks, no blue Volkswagen. Well, yeah, there's a ship coming in next week, or it's in port, and it's for our dealership here. But it's green. Okay, and and the person, well, when's the blue one due in? Well, we're not too sure. Probably on the next boatload. Well, I'll wait, or something like that, or cancel my order, or I'll take the green. Or if you wanted to keep the customer, you say, Mr. McGorry, have you ever thought of driving a convertible? You would convertible, and you're a young guy, convertible, and we have convertibles. So we have a blue convertible on the lot, because we had excess convertibles. But to buy a convertible, it was like another $1,200-1,300 more dollars. Blah blah blah. So you had to try that, and then on top of it, they had the sports car, Carmen Ghia. Okay, that was their sports car. Carmen Ghia's a whoa. Anyway, if you sold a Carmen Ghia, you got like $50 commissions. That was big time, something like that. And the convertibles were like $25. So anyway, people, sold Volkswagens for almost a year, and that was in 64, 65. And then
You sold them to celebrities too.
I think I went to the insurance business. I sold insurance then. I left the car dealership. Too many hours. Oh well, what can I say?
You sold them to Jack
Yeah.
Klugman.
Oh, Chew, yes, my producer, my producer said, don't forget, I sold a Volkswagen to Jack Klugman. Some of you might have heard of Jack Klugman, all right, famous TV star and movie star. Yes, he bought one for his wife. And anyway, that was pretty cool. But also, I was there when Paul Newman lived in Westport, Connecticut. And that's when he was quite popular, quite famous. He calls the dealership on a Saturday. And he was big into cars. And Paul Newman, all right, calls, and he wants a red convertible, which we had on the lot. And he said, I want it today. Service department's closed. Oh, here, and the service department is closed. But because it was Paul Newman, the boss calls the service manager and tells him to come down and prep this car, because in a couple of hours, Mr. Newman is coming to pick up this convertible. And of course, it was done. He picked it up. And he took that car to California. He put a, what's the Ferrari? No, engine in it. He put a, I forget the name of the car. He put a big engine in it and he raced it. He used that car for racing for him in California. But anyway, I was there when I had nothing to do with the sale or with the work or prep or anything like that. Yeah, one correction. The church that we were married at was St. Mary's, okay? in Norwalk. Anyway, the altar boys never show up. I have friends that came up from Allentown to enjoy the wedding, the ceremony, and so forth and so on. And they were high school buddies, and they were altar boys in high school in 1953. Here it is, 1961. And two of them decided they would be the altar boys. So you get the picture. You got the kneelers there for the man and for the woman, and the priest comes out, and the altar boys are kneeling there by where the priest is, and they're not sure what they're supposed to do. And we're looking at them, and they're talking to one another. They're going like, get the book, you know. And we're laughing. I mean, you can't help but laugh. So the people that are in the church are there. I'm sure they saw such a happy bride and a happy bridegroom. Oh, look at them. Their laughter of happiness. Well, our happiness was we were being entertained by two guys who didn't know what to do as ex-altar boys. So anyway, Father Cletus, my cousin, performed the ceremony as best as he could, and pronounced us man and wife. And to this day, we hope that anyway. The wedding was performed. Time to go to the reception, and that's another story. The reception was held at a place called Silver Mine Tavern, very nice place for weddings, and Susan's father footed the bill. Unfortunately, it was just his side of the family that was invited. We don't need to go there, and we had the wedding reception. Then we were to go to his house on Newtown Avenue for more partying or wedding things, which we did. We went there, and we had more. Susan's mother was the only one invited. No, it was sad, but maybe someone will tell that story later. We want people to be. So it was. We were there for a while. We had a nice time, danced, and drank a little, and then it was it was time for us to go on our honeymoon. You all know honeymoon. There's a song, honeymoon. I'm not sure what it goes. Anyway, our honeymoon was a little different, but hey, we're married. We get in the car, we take off, we wave. Hey, just married. Hey, okay. And by this time, the sun is going down, and we're heading for Niagara Falls, and it's getting late. Getting tired, but mostly we have something else we want to do, what people do on their honeymoon. And Joe, that's me, I'm the pilot. Ho, there's a light sign of digital boy. Ho, Nick's Motel. Whoa. Vacancies. Oh. Okay, so we stop at Nick's KNICKS Motel. All right. Okay, you ready, hon? Here we go, the motel. Let me make sure we get the right motel. I'm here. Just got married. And, people in small towns like Nick's Motel. You know, this wasn't the falls yet. This was a little before the falls. And small towns, you know. He says, yeah. I said, hey, man, you want a room or not? I don't know if he says that. So, gives me the keys. The honeymoon suite? Nah, it's already booked. I don't even know if they had a honeymoon suite. So anyway, we unlocked the door. We opened the door to our Nick's Motel honeymoon suite. And we're looking at 2 single beds. Oh, 2 single beds. Long story short, it didn't matter. We're young. We're vibrant. We can handle it. Nowadays, we are too sick. We need oxygen. Okay. So we celebrated our honeymoon night at Nick's Motel. And Susan was adorable. Woo woo, honey. Okay, Nick's Motel, Niagara Falls. Did the honeymoon thing. We had a wonderful time. And we're just kind of going to take you back to take us back to Norwalk, or to where our first home, which was Hulda Hill Road, 69 Hulda Hill Road in Wilton. And joyous time, beautiful area. The room that Susan rented, it was the maid's quarters, I guess, or servants' quarters, not maids, servants' quarters. And it was nice. It was pleasant. It was very nice. You know, and we were there for probably about a year. And I worked at Perk and Elmer. We had a neighbor, a young couple, and kind of ironic, he also worked at Perk and Elmer. His name was Walter. And I think, what was his wife's name again? Did you know? It's Anne? Huh?
Gail, I think.
Gail.
Yeah.
And he worked at Perk and Elmer. And so we shared the cars back and forth, you know, taking one another. We all had the same hours. And they were a very nice couple. They stayed there after we left. I think they were still there.
Yeah, we had the apartment, not just a room.
Yeah, we had an apartment. Yeah, it was an apartment. Yeah, very nice. Right above the main quarters, okay. And the people who owned the place, they were called the Moors.
Yes.
Right. And one funny story there, real quick. I'd gone to work. Susan's there by herself. And noise is coming from the downstairs, and it looked like the Moors weren't home. And you know, this song and kind of classical music, and Susan was hearing this, and she thought, man, that's very, very loud. So she took it upon herself to go down there and, you know, turn the music off. And we had a way to get down there to the apartment, to their place. So she walks down there and she shuts, I don't know the whole story exactly, but she got down there to shut off the music, and the Moors are there. Mr. and Mrs. Moore watched Susan walk down the steps. Turn off the radio, with whatever was playing, and proceed to walk up the steps. I'm making this one up now.
Yeah, you are.
And they said, "Oh, good morning, Susan." Oh my goodness!
You cut that one out. I don't think that's nice.
But it's true that you did go down the shut.
I did, yes. But I don't believe
A funny story. Look at, we could edit it if it's too much for, you know, all of you. Okay, my eyes are seeing the. Okay, what else? Worked at Perk and Elmer. Then we found out we were Susan was with child, and so the first few months of our marriage, we were up in Wilton, and let people know that Susan was expecting, and it got to where it was coming near the fall and winter. And Susan's dad made a rightful choice. He said, it'd be good for you to come into the city. I have the back barn. We have a room there. And you'll be closer to the hospital.
In the barn.
But he had it all fixed up. I mean, it was nice. So I thought, and Susan thought that it was a good idea that we should get closer to facilities. So we moved to 79 West Rocks Road in the back. But it was a nice one room, and Susan gave birth to our Katie Sue in Norwalk Hospital. And December 7th, 1961. And the birth of the child. It was awesome. It was just awesome. Thank you again, Katie, for coming. What? Oh, she just said she had no choice. Okay. No, only kidding. Anyway, we had, I just remember, so winter came, and it was a pretty snowy winter, and I was grateful that we were down this closer to the hospital and all that, and to the church where St. Mary's, where she got baptized, and her godparents were, let's see, wait a minute now. Godparents were
Dennis and Ida.
Yeah, Ida picture. Dennis. That's right. Dennis and Ida. Man, I drew a blank. Sorry about that. Anyway, we had that. And then we had Katie, and then we found out that well, we didn't find out about Tracy, but we figured we had a chance to move out to Flax Hill Road, and we moved there, I believe, Flax Hill Road. And then Mommy was pregnant with Tracy, and we lived on Flax Hill Road in Norwalk, a second floor, nice apartment, small kitchen.
Fireplace and a bedroom.
Fireplace, yeah.
Nice.
I had a bookcase built. I built it. See, never underestimate your gift. You can, don't always give it a try. Don't just say, well, I can't do it, or I quit. That's not what we do. So anyway, we lived there, and then good old Pop, he came again, and he said, want you to come and live at West Rocks Road. I want you to live in the house. I want you to, eventually have it. He loved Susan. I mean, you couldn't, and you can't blame him. I mean, man, their relationship was good, and I knew that. And for us to move to West Rocks Road, where, it looked like it would be permanent, or we hoped it would be. We didn't think anything different. It was okay. So we left Flax Hill Road, moved into the house on West Rocks Road. Liz had lived there. She was moving out, and so we moved in, and we paid rent. Nothing was put down in writing about that what his plan was. That was until years later. This was 1962, and in 1963, living on West Rocks Road, Susan's water broke January 3rd. I shouldn't have said that.
What are you talking about?
Yeah. January 3rd, 1963, our second child, Tracy Ann, was born. Mother healthy, baby healthy. And we brought her home from the hospital at this time. Right, not very much later with Tracy home, we had a crib downstairs for Tracy, and we slept downstairs so we could be near Tracy and Katie. Katie got sick,
Yeah.
and so sick that we thought to take her to the hospital. And here we are with a newborn baby, Tracy, and a 1-year-old Katie, laying in the hospital with tubes in her. That was a bummer. But not much we could do other than we prayed. Mommy was stayed at the hospital as much as she could with Katie. It wasn't like you were in there that long. It was just a time there. I was working. Oh, was your mother or no? My mother? No,
Nobody was
no
there.
one was there, right?
She had fever and
Yeah. That was yeah. Okay.
she needed
All right. We were home one night to get there because I'm getting a little confused, and it happens that our confusion can become a big problem when you're years old.
put a hold on it. Okay, Kim.